Hi, welcome. I'm going to show you today how to make some Easter chicks. These have been in our shop window, you might have seen them there. They're quite funky, they're quite cool to use as Easter decorations, or if they're filled with rice or something a bit heavy like that, you can use them as pattern weights, paperweights, or if you make them a bit bigger, a doorstop. So I'll go through what we're going to need. You need a fabric rectangle. Mine are made about 28 centimetres by 14 centimetres, but you can go bigger or larger as you like, as long as when you fold it in half it creates a square. Some felt, only need some small pieces of felt to make the coxcomb, wattle and beak, but you can improvise with other bits of fabric. Two little buttons for the eyes. I don't know if you can see those, they're quite little. Some rice or lentils, something that's got a bit of weight to it for stuffing. Pins, needles, thread, scissors. Now I'm going to do it on the sewing machine, but you can stitch this by hand as well. Just make sure that your stitches are quite small, otherwise the grains of rice are going to poke out from in between them. Okay, we are going to be selling kits online at www.haberdasherdo.co.uk. They're £5 per kit, and you get 4 pieces of fabric to make 4 hens. You get enough felt in different colours for the various bits and bobs, and you get buttons for the eyes, so all you need to do is provide the rice. Okay, so let's get started. Move these bits out of the way. So you take your fabric rectangle and place it so the right side is facing up, and then take your coxcomb. Now this is like, I guess it's like half a cloud. Mine's about 6 centimetres long and about 3 centimetres high. Okay, so you just make that coxcomb shape, and you're going to put that in the top right hand corner, about a centimetre away, that way, from the right hand edge. Okay, and then on the right hand side you're going to put the beak about 2 centimetres down, and you're facing these all into the middle, and then your wattle you're going to place directly underneath the beak. Okay, you're going to fold your fabric in half so the two right sides are together, match those corners, and then we're just going to pin. So if we pin where the felt pieces are first, and I don't know if you can see how I'm pinning. If you pin so that your pins are pointing, so the sharp bit is going to the edge, that way you can machine stitch over your pins without worrying about breaking the needle. Okay, so out the way. So we're just going to machine stitch or hand stitch along that top edge and that side edge. So we're going to leave this bottom edge open. So when you start off, you're going to be stitching about 1 centimetre away from the edge, so about 1 centimetre seam allowance. And when you start off, remember to go backwards and then forwards again, just to fasten your stitch off. As you get to the corner, so you're going to stop about 1 centimetre away from the edge. So if you stop and wind your needle down, lift your presser foot up, and then turn your fabric, press the foot back down again, and then stitch to the end. And just a little forward and back at the end, just to seal it off. Okay, and then if you cut your threads, try and keep your threads nice and short so that there's no dangly bits. Nobody wants any dangly bits. Okay, we take those pins out. Now, you'll see that there's a little pocket. Okay, so if you hold your piece of fabric with the fold towards you, and then put your fingers in the middle two edges, and you're just going to pull it out. Okay, so it's going to make this kind of shape, like a pyramid kind of shape. Right, now I'm going to push that seam over to one side and put a pin in it. I'm going to put a pin on the top edge, and then we're going to machine stitch from that top edge to just past where the other seam is. Okay, so we're going to leave this little bit open so that we can turn it the right way around. So again, centimetre seam allowance, needle down, forward and back to fasten off. And then just trim your threads. I hate having threads hanging. This is a quick unpick. I could not live without my quick unpick. I use it for cutting threads, for unpicking, all sorts of things. Right, pins out. Right, now we can turn it the right way around. Actually, before we do that, we're just going to trim the corners off. So if you can see, this is just to take away some of the bulk so that when we turn it the right way around we can get a nice sharpy corner edge. So I'm just going to cut the corners off about 3 millimeters away from the stitching. Just be sure not to go through the stitching. I'm going to do it on that corner too. And on that corner. Okay. So we turn it the right way around. That noise was my phone beeping, by the way. Okay, and now we can stuff our chick with rice. We're going to push those corners out as best you can. And you can use your quick unpick for this as well if you want to. Just make sure you don't stick the point through the fabric. Okay, so you can see how it's taking shape now. I'm going to stuff in with rice. And now I made a little funnel. It's just out of a rectangle of paper. Just makes it a little bit easier for putting the rice inside. So take your bag of rice. And fill your chick. And it feels a nice weight. Now I find I'm using long grain rice. You can use brown rice if you want to. Lentils work quite well, or even a bit of couscous or chickpeas. Right, that feels about right. You don't want to overfill him because you see these ones, they're quite squidgy at the top, so they're about 2/3 filled, I could guess. Okay, that edge, we're now going to hand stitch that edge together. So I'm just going to pop a pin in there to hold it in place. Right, you can do this on the sewing machine if you want to, if you really don't want to hand stitch, but I quite like to hand stitch. Right, so you just need one single thread. So you're going to do 2 little stitches at the beginning just to hold the thread fast. 1, 2, and then you're just going to do a little over stitch all the way along there, just small and neat. Not too far apart, otherwise those rice grains are going to fall out in the gaps. Okay, I just whiz along to the end there. So this is a great project that you can get the kids to get involved with, because it's just straight machine stitch that they can do on the sewing machine. If you need some help with threading up your sewing machine, if it's been a while since you've dusted it out, we've got another tutorial on how to thread your machine, how to wind your bobbin, and how to deal with any little troubleshooting problems that you might have. So that should be uploaded to the website very soon, if not already. Right, I'm just going to fasten those stitches off. Okay, so we're nearly done. We've just got to put the eyes in now. So again, take your needle and thread. This time I'm going to have it doubled up. Okay. And decide where you're going to pop the eye. So I'm just going to pop it sort of in between the beak and the start of the coxcomb. Now you're going to do 2 little stitches just to hold that thread fast. 1, 2. Take one of your eyes, thread the needle through one of the holes, and then back through the other one and through the fabric. Take your other button through the first hole, put it up close, through the second hole, and then you're going to push it through to the other side and find the corresponding hole on the other side. And then just keep doing that backwards and forwards, finding the other hole. As you go, it gets easier after a few stitches because the buttons are held in place. So do that a few times. You want to make sure it's nice and secure. If you've got young kids, I perhaps recommend just drawing the eyes on. There's no risk of them coming off and being eaten like sweeties. Right, we're going to cut that thread really close to the button there. And there you have it, one Easter chick.